Hey class, Tim Carey. I hope all is well. Um, Today we're going to talk about the policy environment, micro, macro, political systems, as well as iron triangles. We'll definitely go into iron triangles again in the future. So the policy environment, according to the systems theory, demands for policy action stem from problems and conflicts in the environment and are transmitted to the political system by groups, officials, and others. So there's got to be so for things to move through the systems theory, is there's a problem, something is taking place, and it needs to be solved. So how do the group desire to solve it is through the political system, through public policy, through the making of a policy to prevent the problem, or to eliminate something, or to increase something. That's the direction that most would go. The environment both limits and directs what policymakers can do effectively. So there's two sides to it. There may be people, as if it goes into especially the micro-political environment, it could really develop, and there could be multiple groups challenging one another. So we want to keep that in mind. One thing I want to talk about with micropolitics, this often occurs when an individual seeks a favorable ruling from an administrative agency or a special bill offering exemption from a requirement. So very small. Even you can consider it as even something as small as a casino. It's not affecting a lot of people. So in Philadelphia, there's been discussions about a casino moving towards the Stadium District, and the neighbors are complaining. The group of neighbors who live around the casino are complaining about the location of the casino. But on the other side, the builders who want it, the facility that wants it, the sports teams that want it, are also fighting for that location as well. So it's something that's not encompassing a lot of people. It's something that's taking place in a small environment. The casino is probably not the best example. You probably could think of better ones in your area. I know in the book they talk about immigration. Like there's one policy that's preventing someone from becoming a citizen in the United States, and therefore that person goes to the administrative agency and challenges that one provision that's preventing them from becoming a citizen. So very small, local level. When we talk about the snail darter, at first it starts within this small development, the small project that's taking place through the Tennessee Valley Authority, and all of a sudden, boom, it blows up into a macro political arena because of the snail darter. And it's an endangered species, so therefore they had to halt the construction. The federal government has to get involved. Court rulings take place both at the appellate court and Supreme Court. Then they have to, put, kind of hide it, put riders on different bills to get the project completed. The president gets involved. So, there's groups involved. There's the president, there's the Congress, there's the Supreme Court. Do you see how large that thing grew from something as small, this minor project that's taking place, and boom, the environment explodes because of the finding of the snail darter being on the endangered species list. So in the textbook, they go on to talk about healthcare, tax cuts, the magnitude of the policies. They attract wide interest and participation from citizens and political elites. So the bigger the issue, the more people that will become involved with it. Very important. Now we're going to spend the next 5 minutes talking about iron triangles. It's a three-sided relationship between the legislature, interest groups, and administrative agencies. Prefers to contain participation and limit conflict while staying out of the public eye. Iron triangles pursue narrow, incremental policy initiatives, so small changes, nothing too large. Tendency to act proactively while looking for opportunities to advance participant interest. So let's give the example of the iron triangle for defense. Okay, it's an easy one. So you have the House National Security Committee and the Defense Appropriation Subcommittees, being in Congress, the government agency, the legislature. The administrative agency would be the Department of Defense. Okay, so you got your triangle at the top. You have, the subcommittee for defense down here at the bottom. You have the administrative agency that will be implementing whatever policy or instrument is taking place, which would be the Department of Defense. And over here, say, right up the road, Boeing, as the interest group. And Boeing may be, pushing for, the development of a new airplane, or there's an issue with the battle against ISIS or ISIL, and we need to develop a new weapon to kind of combat these groups. So they go to the interest group goes up and they have an idea or a plan. They work in this small triangle to come up with a plan to actually, do we want this? Does the committee want it? Can we find funding for it? All right. And then down to the Department of Defense, is this something we can implement? And they work together just in this small little group and come up with the solution. They don't want this to get too big. They don't want too many people in there. That slows the process down. Again, it could be something small, incremental, the change, the policy, a slight increase in spending from the federal government on defense, and utilizing this new weapon that's being devised. So that's an iron triangle in a nutshell. But it's very important. Definitely going to be on your test. You want to understand. I'm going to ask you to, on your test, make up your own iron triangle and explain it. Okay, so it's really important. A three-sided relationship between legislative, interest group, and an administrative agency, and limit the conflict while staying out of the public eye. Why is it important to stay out of the public's eye? All right. Again, more groups get involved, the slower the process. Okay, the more fighting. Internal fighting that'll take place, the more people may have their hands in the pot, looking for the solution or spending. So you have to keep this in mind. For the test, you're going to be asked to draw up your own iron triangle, and what kind of public policy comes out of this. All right. So we gave the one on defense just a second ago, and increase in spending. There could be a wide variety of different types of policies. One I always think about would be the streets department in Philadelphia. All of a sudden they want to increase the speed limit in a certain area to 50 miles an hour, and they have to so the city council say, yeah, we want to do this. The streets department says, okay, we can do this. The police department would have to be involved in this one as well, because they're going to be enforcing. And then the interest group that may be saying, well, wait a second, let's talk about maybe Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or Citizens for Safe Roads, something of that nature. So please keep that in mind when you're looking at your iron triangles. Okay, you're going to have to come up with your own, not from the book. But yeah, you have time to think about it a little bit. I'm giving you plenty of leeway. I should be posting some more videos in the next couple days to tackle this, and I'll talk more about iron triangles. I think they're really important to discuss and think about how policy comes out of these. All right, and how usually this that the last thing you want is slack resources, where everybody's getting involved and bringing awareness to a problem that may become too big. Good old snail darter. All right. So any questions? Feel free to email me. Hope all is well. Take care. Bye.